With the first pick, the Carolina Panthers select
the countdown to a new era. The rare opportunity to cement the keystone of the future in Carolina. Are you ready? It's time to party. The future starts now.
The countdown is ticking, and it's ticking towards one. And here's where it will be announced. Union Station in Kansas City, the site of the 2023 NFL Draft. In a matter of moments, the newest Carolina Panther and your new favorite player will be walking across that stage, Carla.
That's right, and 975 miles to the east. That's where you'll find us, Bank of America Stadium, where the doors just opened for the Panthers draft party. I mean, yeah, Kansas City is cool, but we cannot wait to hear the eruption when that first name is called right here inside the bank.
But this is where the pick will be made. An exclusive look inside the Carolina Panthers war room. You got Frank Reich, Scott Fitterer, Samir Suleiman, David Tepper, all going to be inside here in just moments, picking up those phones, making those phone calls, wheeling and dealing, baby. This is how you turn a franchise around. And for the rest of us, the moment starts right now, right here inside Bank of America Stadium, live alongside Carla Gebhardt. I'm Will Kunkel. This is the Carolina Panthers draft party, Charlotte Sports Live here on Queen City News, and I cannot wait, not for this to be over, but for us to get to where we've been talking about for the last 48 days.
Yeah, so much excitement. And listen, this is night 2 of prime time for us and our team. We had to bring out all the stars tonight for this hour-long pre-draft special. We got former Hall of Famer Luke Kuechly. We got general manager Scott Fitterer and last year's first-round pick Ickey Ekwonu, but the list doesn't even end there.
No, we got Scott Fitterer, the team's general manager. We also have Samir Suleiman. These guys making all these decisions and the way they work together. That conversation that I had with the two of them about this, it's so fascinating because the ego's so important to check and get aside. And speaking of, we got all the stars here on the show as well with our team. We got Gabe McDonald, who is dry and safe back in studio. Mike Lissette, who's out there with the Wild fans. You got to find him on Twitter at Mike Lissette, sending out some awesome videos of what's going on here at the bank. And, of course, my man Al Wallace, the 10-year veteran here for the Carolina Panthers. We're going to get to him in just a little bit. But let's talk about what the Panthers have, not only tonight in round 1, but this whole weekend and how they're going to transform this organization into a conference winner, maybe a champion, but we got the crown jewel, the number 1 overall pick in the draft, the one that everybody wants. But not only that, they hold another very coveted pick, number 39 in round 2. They'll also have pick 93 in round 3, 114 and 132 in round 4, and 145 in round 5. However, expect that to change tonight. That is just my guess that Scott's going to do something to maybe either move up and get somebody, a defensive end or a wide receiver, but it's going to be fun tonight. So don't go to sleep early. We're going to have you covered tonight as well. Charlotte Sports Live at 11 o'clock, Carla.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, we can't talk Panthers football without bringing in the big man. And yes, he is our big man, the 10-year NFL veteran, former Panthers defensive end, Mr. Al Wallace. Al, the crowd is already out there, but they are going to be loud for all the right reasons in about an hour.
I love it. I love to see the fans pile in here, be excited for the next quarterback of the Carolina Panthers. This should be absolutely fantastic. It gives hope. We're all going to be cheering come September.
All right, it feels like it's been 480 days since this trade was made with the Bears, but it's only been 48 days. We've talked about it every single night here on Charlotte Sports Live. It's all we do here. We are the home of the Panthers, and it makes sense. But the headlines that are coming out of this, I mean, a month and a half later, like, it's still the biggest story in the Queen City, and rightfully so.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, we have so much to get to. The actual pick is going to be made, and we're finally, no more speculation now. We're finally going to know who that first overall pick is.
I mean, that anticipation has just been killing all of us. Is it going to be Bryce? Is it going to be CJ? We'll find out, hopefully, here pretty soon. But, man, the excitement around having a new quarterback, a new face of the franchise, it feels good. I haven't been this excited probably since 2011.
They better get it right, though. They better get it right, Carla.
Yeah, and it's going to be obviously a quarterback at that first overall pick. It actually marks the 11th time in the last 15 drafts that this has happened. And guys, it's not always a slam dunk pick. Yes, 8 of the 10 quarterbacks listed here have made at least one Pro Bowl, but before Trevor Lawrence and Matthew Stafford and Jameis Winston, when they were selected, it was their lone appearance came as a replacement selection. Stafford, Newton, Goff, and Burrow, we should add, have at least started in a Super Bowl.
All right, we're going to dive into all of the quarterbacks that are in this draft class, at least the top 4, even though Hendon Hooker making some noise on social media right now. But right now, let's go back to the studio to Gabe McDonald. Let's start from ground zero, Gabe. Introduce these quarterbacks to all the folks out there that kind of want to get refreshed or don't know everything.
Well, the draft is an interesting case study, guys, especially when it comes to the quarterbacks. Now, some front offices draft on what they see on tape. Others draft on potential and future projections. And then you got the war rooms that take all of that into account. But let's focus strictly on how the top 4 QBs graded out in college. On my right, the number 1 prospect, according to Pro Football Focus, that being Bryce Young. Now, his grade of 92.2 in 2021 was the best in the college ranks. He won the Heisman that year, so it makes sense. Last season, he graded slightly lower, but still a top 10 QB. Now, on my left, the number 6 ranked prospect and number 2 QB on PFF's draft board being C.J. Stroud of Ohio State. Now, he graded the same as Young 2 seasons ago before also dropping a bit this past year, ranking 27th. But how about Will Levis and Anthony Richardson? Can't forget about those guys. This is where NFL front offices are focused more on potential. Levis, the 7th ranked prospect and number 3 QB on the big board. Now, he was sensational 2 seasons ago, a grade over 90, which got him 21st in the nation. Last season, not so much, ranked 187 out of 308 graded quarterbacks. Finally, the most raw and talented quarterback in this group, Florida's Anthony Richardson. In just 1 full season as a starter, he earned a grade of about 80 in 2022, good for 76 in the country. So there you go, NFL-ready talent and raw talent. The question is, which direction will the Panthers and other teams go? Guys?
All right, let's break these down a little bit more with the man that's played in the NFL. Nobody better to ask. Al, let's start with Bryce Young. He's the clear favorite in Vegas. What makes him an eligible candidate for number 1 overall and why he will be successful?
I think he's the smartest quarterback in the pocket. When you look at Bryce Young, he just finds a way to maneuver in and out of trouble. As a quarterback, that is dangerous for a pass rusher. You just can't find a guy like Bryce Young. The accuracy, the dedication that he has to studying the game is what's put him head over everybody else in this field.
Okay, his size. Does it worry you? Because you're about twice his size, and that's not even a joke.
I mean, when I look at him from the competitor in me, the former defensive end, I love it because I'm going to be able to chase the guy down, like you said, that's half my size. And boy, when I get to him, I'm going to have a little attitude when I get there. So he's going to have to overcome that. We know the discussion around his size. Hopefully he can find a way to stay out of harm's way.
Is it a real worry?
It is definitely a concern. 205 pounds at the combine, that tells me he's really about 195.
All right, let's move on to a little bit taller quarterback in Will Levis. He was at the top of the draft boards at the start of the college football season, kind of dropped, but then made his way back up here most recently. So why would the 6'3", 230-pound gunslinger from Kentucky be a Panther?
It's just inconsistency, especially when you look at his film from last year, 2022. He made some bad passes. Look, this is a tough guy. When I first saw him, the immediate thought was Josh Allen 2.0. Look at the shoulders on this kid. He is a phenomenal-looking athlete, but the consistency, I think, is what's worried scouts, general managers, and head coaches.
Okay, what about C.J. Stroud, the kid out of Ohio State? He had about 6 hours in Vegas where he was the favorite to become a Carolina Panther. I love the fact, by the way, that we're talking about the Panthers versus who's going to fall. It's so much more fun. He's probably the best pure thrower of this ball. Is that his best attribute?
His best attribute is his athleticism. As a defensive end, he is the one guy maybe on the board where you look at, you say, hey, the accuracy is there. He's going to make sure the ball is placed right where it's supposed to be. I think he's a phenomenal quarterback that has patience in the pocket. And also, you know, he played with a lot of talent around him. That may be the knock, but I think his calm presence in the pocket is what has set him apart in this draft.
All right, finally, Florida's Anthony Richardson. There are fans out there that love this guy, especially because he gets compared to Cam Newton, which, of course, we all love here at the Carolina Panthers. But listen, why is the hype so big around this guy?
Because guys like me, it's the worst nightmare you could possibly have. Someone who can run away from you, and when you get there, he can shrug you off. I played against Michael Vick. I played against some athletic quarterbacks. We were all here for Cam Newton. I know he doesn't like that comparison. He wants to be his own man, but this guy's going to be a nightmare, a headache for defensive ends, edge rushers trying to get him on the ground this season.
But does it make sense for the Panthers at 1? I see why he's so exciting exciting, and I see why a team would want to go get him and turn him into an exciting player for them. But at 1, you got to get somebody you know is going to be good.
Yeah, and I don't think he's ready, right? 13 starts at Florida. That's not enough. It's not enough history for him to develop NFL coverages and deciphering all the looks he's going to get on the back end. I think he needs some more experiences. The Panthers aren't in that position. They got to get a guy in there that can win right now.
Man, I love that breakdown, especially for someone that has played in the league and knows what he's talking about. And he doesn't know what he's talking about, but as Michael has said, Michael, this guy's got the best gig right now.
I know. He's down in the concourse with the fans, getting a pulse for the excitement. So what's going on down there, Mike?
Well, guys, since it's so rainy outside at Bank of America Stadium, the concourse is the place to be. A lot of excitement, a lot of activities, and a lot of opinions. And that is where these two come in, Marquise and Dub. Now, get this. They drove all the way from Norfolk today to be here. Why was it so important for you to be here tonight at Bank of America Stadium for draft night?
We want to be a part of the future. The Panthers select Bryce Young here tonight.
All right, that was my next question. You guys are obviously Bryce backers. Why are you guys Bryce backers?
Bryce Young's just an amazing playmaker. His escapability, his ability to see the whole field, no matter what his height is, his ability to make his lanes. He's just an overall great playmaker, and I think he's a franchise quarterback.
Dove, you got 2 little kids here.
Yeah.
You're going to speak for them. Who do you want it to be?
We wanted to be Bryce Young, but we're still rooting for Philly.
You're still rooting for Philly. He's not.
We speaking for the kids.
Oh,
Down the middle, okay?
I appreciate it.
On mommy's team.
Well, he's a dedicated fan, and you're a dedicated partner for being here and driving with him. So enjoy the night, guys. Stay dry, and for your sake, I hope they pick Bryce Young.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Guys, back to you.
I think Mike needs to get his face painted down there and become really, truly part of the fans. But we got a lot more coming up here on Charlotte Sports Live's Panthers Draft Party, including an interview, an exclusive interview with this dude.
We know what we wanted to run our offense. We know what type of leader we want. We knew the traits that we were looking for in the player. And as you start checking boxes, it becomes clear.
Someone sounds pretty set on a first overall pick. Up next, we'll go one-on-one with your general manager, Scott Fitterer, to get inside the brain of the man who holds all the power in the NFL right now.
And everyone is focused on that first overall pick tonight, but there are 5 others to go through, and the Panthers still have needs to fill. Plus, the Panthers' second-round track record is elite. We'll discuss that in just a little bit.
And we've got not 1, but 2 first-round Panthers picks still to come. Last year's first pick, Ickey Ekwonu, going to join us, as will the future Hall of Famer himself, Luke Kuechly. We got all that and more when the Panthers Draft Party continues. Well, we know the wet weather can't keep the Panthers faithful away. They're getting revved up for the most important day in franchise history in the last 8 years. We are roughly 45 minutes away from hearing who that first overall pick in the NFL draft will be. Welcome inside the Panthers Draft Party. Carly Gebhardt, Will Kunkel, of course, our former Panther Al Wallace down there. And listen, this is so exciting. And the one man that will have the honor of making the pick tonight is someone who said that this has been a complete collaborative effort, the whole process.
Yeah, Scott Fitterer sets the whole tone. Right below David Tepper, he brings everybody in, or he's the head honcho, and everybody has to listen to what he has to say. And Fitterer's the guy that brings everybody in. He's a team player, and we got to sit down with him exclusively. Here's our conversation. So this process of you and Frank not talking throughout scouting for your next quarterback has absolutely fascinated me. Take me through why and how you came up with this process.
You know, we first met back in February with the scouts, and in the scouting meetings, scouts were all positive about all the guys, presented what they liked, what they didn't like. So, when it came down to it, we were still at 9 at the time, and so we wanted to go through the process. Once we made the jump to 1, we made kind of a decision to be continuous, like not lock on, not make a decision from day 1, like, hey, this is our guy. Because we want to be able to poke holes in these guys. We want to really challenge our thought process, look at it from every angle. And if we made a decision from day 1, you tend to lock on and kind of just have blind spots all around you. So we went all the way through the process, and we really went up right till Monday, yesterday, to make that decision. And finally made that decision.
When you walked into Frank's office and said, Who's your guy? Were you nervous you guys were going to yell different names at the same time?
No, because it was pretty. We had so much clarity through the process that you have an idea who people like, because you have conversations. You talk to the assistant coaches, you talk to the scouts, and there's a consensus all the way through. But really, when I went in and asked Frank, it was a 5-second conversation. I said, "All right, who do you like?" And he said a name, and we both agreed, and we're like, "Okay, what are we going to do at 39?" And it was that quick.
What's the process for you guys? Because you go into this wanting to find your guy.
Yeah.
You want to be open-minded. At the same time, you say you're at about a 9, assuming on a scale of 1 to 10.
Right.
So what's the process like in regards to the other guys and giving them a chance to become the number 1 pick?
Well, through every dinner and every conversation, you kind of have highs and lows. Like, you get excited after talking to a guy. We had dinner with, all 4 of them. And when you walk away, it's like, wow, they have some really good, points here. And maybe we should go back and look at this. Maybe we should do this. And that's kind of the point of the whole process that we, went on, is to keep this open mind, to be challenged by these guys and be swayed by them. In the end, we know what we wanted to run our offense. We know what type of leader we want. We knew the traits that we were looking for in the player. And as you start checking boxes, it becomes clear.
So, Al, as a player in the locker room, how much does the general manager mean to you? What does it matter what his demeanor is or how he goes about his business?
I think it means a lot. It sends a common message to the rest of us that 2 people are on the same page, that there's some trust, that there's a plan, and these 2 guys are going to execute it. I love the way Frank Reich has come in and trusted Scott Fitterer in the plan that he already had in place.
And the Panthers brass sent so many people on all of these trips to visit the quarterbacks. What does that say to you about this decision that they have to make tonight?
Well, I think we got to look into it when Frank Reich started hiring his staff, right? Let's get as many eyes as we can on it. Let's get multiple visions and come together and come to a consensus. And that's what we heard Monday, that they had come to a consensus.
And it's so nice that they check their egos. I've mentioned it a couple times, but we've seen in the past, man, it's like, I'm in charge. It's my way or the highway. And it doesn't work out. And you also don't get guys like this, Adam Thielen. He's the brand new Panther that so many players and so many guys and fans are excited to see because he's their number 1 wide receiver right now. He's not the only one in town for drafting workouts, though. We're going to show you who that is next.
And as we look at Union Station Stage in Kansas City, you should know that Adam getting to Carolina wasn't just on the general manager. One guy that you may not know has been working hard behind the scenes. You can meet Samir Suleiman when the Panthers draft party returns. The entire Panthers brain trust is in this very space right now. The War Room, as it's called. This is on the 2nd floor of Bank of America Stadium, where a number of the coaches' offices are. In a matter of minutes, they will reveal to the world who the newest Carolina Panther will be.
With the 9th pick in the 2012 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Luke Kuechly, linebacker, Boston College.
There you go, Mike. I love that kid.
It was the moment a Carolina legend was born, the 9th overall pick in the first round, a 6'3", 242 linebacker, changed the franchise, and now he is here live with us on set. You ain't 242 anymore.
Oh no! I look at that video right there. I look young. I got my glasses on. I was bigger. Now I got a Legends jacket. I'm skinny. I feel old. So, but it's good. It's good to be back here. There's tons of excitement. The new coaching staffs with Frank Reich's been phenomenal, and there's really good energy in the stadium right now.
What do you remember about that day?
I was so happy to be at the house, and that was the biggest thing. Was I remember being at the house. I was supposed to go to a Cincinnati Reds game the night before, but my mom said, "Hey, you should probably sell those tickets. There's a surprise coming." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, what's going to happen?" And a bunch of my college buddies showed up, and they were at the house for the draft. When my name got called, it was really cool to have not only them but my family, my friends, and then those guys from BC came down. It was a ton of fun, but it's kind of a relief because you spend your whole time training, pro days, interviews, and then you never know where you're going to end up. And then your name gets called, and there's a little bit of sense of, all right, I know where I'm going to go. And then you start freaking out again because, like, all right, now I got to go play. I got to learn a new playbook. I got to get used to the guys. I've never been to Charlotte for an extended period of time, and it's a lot of excitement, and then you get that nervous energy after it.
Now, I know you're partial to the number 9 overall pick because that's when you were taken, but were you surprised that the Panthers traded up this draft about that?
No, I just think, we had an opportunity to move up in the draft. I think Scott, Dan, and Coach have done such a phenomenal job this offseason, not only with moving up in the draft, but with free agency. Obviously, they've been all over the place looking at these quarterbacks. The Teppers have been super supportive. You look at the coaching staff, the assistants that we have, from the coordinators to, the assistant linebacker coaches to the quarterback coaches. They're stacked up everywhere. So it was the right opportunity. It was the right situation for us to move up and go get the guy that we want. And I've got a ton of confidence in what these guys have done. They've been working their butts off since they got here, since we made that trade. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens.
Well, it sounds like, depending on where you look, it's going to be Bryce Young. And why does he deserve to be the number 1 overall pick? And don't give me the captain.
Yeah.
Don't give me your coach speak. He's fit. He's big. He's fast. He's physical. I know your lines from when you played. So give me something good here.
I don't know what we're going to do, but I think, you look at all these quarterbacks, they all possess different things, Richardson's big, Levis has a big arm, Stroud played at Ohio State and had a ton of success. But then you look at Bryce and obviously success at a big-time school. But I think what sets him apart is when you listen to him in interviews, he's calm, he's cool, he's collected, he's smart, he's intelligent, he can answer questions. You watch him in big-time games, he's super calm. There's no stress in his eyes. And when you play good quarterbacks, when we played, Breeze and Brady and Aaron Rodgers, they were just laser-focused. No energy, no expression, got wasted because they knew exactly what was going on. And then when you watch Bryce play, you get a lot of that feel from him.
Everything slows down to those guys.
It's easy. It's easy.
They've been here, they've done this, they studied, and that's it.
And I love this team. I love this organization. It's great that we have all these fans here out on the field tonight, and we're just happy that they're out here supporting a great team.
Fans right now are screaming at the stadium. Are you not going to ask him if he's going to coach? So, I know you're coaching 12-year-olds. Have you thought about coaching the NFL? Is that something you want to do?
I love the game of football. Like you said, I'm coaching a 12U team with Olsen right now. It's been a ton of fun, but these coaches are awesome. I love being around the team. I was out at practice yesterday, and there's just a certain aura and vibe here right now that would be great to be a part of.
All right, my man. We appreciate you coming on here. That's going to be a lot of fun down there. You head on down there. And, Luke, you were a surefire. You were a Hall of Fame. You excited to go to the Hall of Fame?
Oh, we got to figure that part out.
How to make Luke uncomfortable, make him talk about himself. But besides Luke and him and Cam and who else is regarded as a home run first rounder, we're going to go down that list next.
And the number 1 pick in any draft can lead to many things. For some, Super Bowls and MVPs. But just how often does that happen? We're going to show you when the Panthers draft party returns.
Another look across Bank of America Stadium where fans are filling in for the Panthers draft party. Never a dull moment when you got a lot of Panthers fans together just like this. And I know we've talked a lot about this first overall pick for the Carolina Panthers, but they have several more picks in their arsenal tonight. And there's one particular round that has been pretty favorable for this team.
Yeah, Gabe, my man, you broke down the quarterbacks earlier. So now what are they going to do outside of one? Like, what do you think they should do? Because these are not throwaway rounds. You can find starters. You can find some studs out there.
Yeah, guys, you absolutely can. And we've spent so much time on that first overall pick that you might have forgotten that there's still some valuable real estate in Carolina's pocket. In fact, there's one round they've made some big picks in. But first, let's refresh your memory on what's in the bag tonight. They'll, of course, make the first overall pick. But tomorrow night, the team is due to take 2 more selections, a second rounder at 39 and a third rounder at pick 93. And Saturday, they've got 3 picks, 2 fourth rounders at picks 114 and 132, as well as a 5th round pick at number 145. Currently, Carolina does not have a 6th or a 7th rounder, but that could change if a trade is made. But backtrack to that 2nd round pick. Pick 39 could be big, and Carolina has other needs other than quarterback.
That was a real hang-up in there. We did not want to give up 39. That would have made life a lot easier. However, it's hard to go into the draft, when you don't have that number 9 pick, because you've traded up to 1. And then all of a sudden you have to wait till that second, this was 60, whatever it was, 61 or whatever it was. That's a long haul, and there's a lot of good players in there that are going. We saw 39 as a pick that we had to keep because that's a really good player for us moving forward. We're going to get 4 or 5 good starting years out of that and then maybe an extension beyond.
And guys, Scott's right. Look at this list of second-round successes over the years. Terrace Marshall Jr. and Yetur Gross-Matos are coming into their own. Jeremy Chin was an absolute steal at pick 55 back in 2020. Dante Jackson still a starter and effective when healthy. The Carolina offensive line's heart and soul is a second-rounder as well, Taylor Moton, back in 2017. And one other name you don't see on this list that's a second-round pick, James Bradbury, who's excelling in Philadelphia. So the proof is in the pudding, and there's plenty of reason to feel optimistic for the picks the Panthers will make tomorrow night, especially when you factor in the depth in this year's class at other positions of need for Carolina, such as receiver and edge rusher. Guys?
This team they have needs. Like, it's not just a quarterback. And remember, they're going to a 3-4 defense from a 4-3 defense, even though they're a nickel or dime a lot throughout the game. But this is straight from the general manager, Scott Fitterer. They need an edge rusher. Remember, the Panthers are now going to that 3-4. Another offensive lineman isn't going to hurt either. You can always develop another wide receiver, especially someone to tag out Thielen on the end. And then Shaq Thompson is entering his 9th year. Might be time to get another linebacker in the family again, especially that 3-4 defense. So talk to me about that 3-4 defense. How does that matter? Because it's a new base defense, and Frank said it's a huge deal. But I'm looking out there, and it's like you're in nickel like 70% of the time.
It might be not a big deal on the back end, but you're talking guys like Yetur Gross-Matos switching to an outside linebacker, having to play in space, dropping in coverage. Once upon a time, as a Philadelphia Eagle for Andy Reid, they tried to convert me into a linebacker. Got cut.
How long that lasts?
Not long, 3 weeks.
All right, well, I know there's lots of fans out there, especially sad that DJ Moore left. So we got to look at some more weapons for whoever this quarterback is going to be taken in the first round. Looking at wide receiver, looking at tight ends, who do you want them to go after in this draft?
I look at Marvin Mims out of Oklahoma. He's a guy that can run the route tree, very athletic. He does a lot of things. He makes a ton of 50-50 ball catches. You can put him in there with this group that you already have, and you have a day one guy that can go in there and make a difference on offense.
How much does it make, for Brian Burns? You and I talked about this ad nauseum last year. I think you know what I'm about to say. He dropped back in coverage a lot last year. If he can get some help on the other side, how much does that help him?
Huge. It's a huge help to have to take some of that pressure off. And I can just hear in the mic behind that, you just look at a guy like Mike Rucker, who played opposite, Julius Peppers, and those two were able to have success.
You talk about Mike Rucker. I think it's about time we check in with our own Mike Lissette, who has now wandered inside Bank of America Stadium, and he found last year's first-round pick, Big Ickey. So, Mike, what's going on?
Well, the moment is at hand. The Panthers set to pick first in the NFL draft. Here with a guy that's got to know, that has to know who the team is taking first, Ickey Ekwonu. Pretend the camera's not even here. It's not there. So tell me who the team is picking first. Do you know?
Honestly, I don't know. I wish I did. Your guess is good as mine, but definitely excited to figure out who it is.
Does the team, do they talk to you guys and say, do they look for help from you guys? Or for the most part, that's them and you say you guys do you?
Yeah, we kind of just, let the players play, let Scott and everyone else kind of make those decisions. So they do a pretty good job of keeping that stuff separate.
Well, 1 year ago, this was you. This was your night. You were taken by the Panthers in the NFL draft. What do you remember about that night? What kind of memories come back to you on the anniversary of that?
Man, just a little bit of nervousness, but also excitement too. Just a lot of emotions. Wondering where I was going to go, if I was going to go back home, if I was going to go somewhere else. I was lucky enough to have my family with me too, to share that moment with me. So just thinking about their reactions and everything like that. So definitely a big mix of emotions.
I've never had Roger Goodell announce my name on a big stage. To everyone out there, what is it like when the commissioner reads your name and tells you where you're going?
Yeah, it's a great experience. Obviously, grew up watching drafts prior, so the fact that there was actually my name on stage and, my name in the little ticker box, it's honestly surreal. It was a crazy experience.
How quickly does life change when that moment happens? Is it one of those things where it hits you instantly, or is it something where, little things start to change? Or do you know right away the dream has been made?
Well, for me personally, it didn't really hit me until I got back to my hotel room, like later that night after all the interviews and stuff like that. When I actually got the time to kind of just take a deep breath and settle in, that's kind of when I was like, man, I'm going home. I'm going back home. I finally got drafted. All the waiting is over with. So it took me a couple hours for that to really, settle in.
So obviously we established that you don't know, or maybe you just don't want to tell us. I get that. But what kind of advice are you giving to the upcoming rookie class about adjusting to life in the NFL?
I just say, take it one day at a time. It's obviously it's going to be an adjustment, going to be a process, but, you have guys here that are going to help you with that. So just be patient, trust that you're here for a reason, trust in your abilities, never doubt yourself, and, everything that's supposed to happen will happen.
Now, here's the tough question, and we'll let you go right after this, but you are no longer a rookie. You're a seasoned vet. So I ask you this, are you going to be a nice seasoned vet to the rookie class, or are you going to be a not-so-nice seasoned vet to the rookie class? And you know what I'm talking about.
I think I'm going to be a pretty nice vet. You know, I feel like the offensive line took great care of me and Cade, you know, when we were rookies. So I'm going to pay that forward, and I'm going to show some kindness to the rookie class.
I dig it. Ickey, thank you so much for your time, and enjoy the night.
No problem.
Guys, back to you.